Hi folks, how's it going? Welcome to another video, and this is going to be my top 10 Resident Evil games as of February 2014. Now, yeah, as you can see here, I have got 11 Resident Evil games. I actually got 12. I used to have Resident Evil 1, don't actually have that anymore. This kept freezing, but obviously I have played it, so I'm actually including this in the list. But yeah, as you can see, there's games that's missing. There's Resident Evil Revelations, which I've not played yet. I'm waiting until it comes down in price. But Resident Evil Revelation looks really good. Obviously, I didn't have a GameCube, so I don't have Resident Evil Zero or Resident Evil Remake. And I don't have, what else do I not have, guys? I don't have Resident Evil, is it Gun Survivor 2, I think it is, which is basically based on Code Veronica X. There's that one. I don't actually have that one either. Resident Evil Gaiden on Game Boy Color. So there's a few games I've not played yet, but obviously I'm going by the games that I've played. And if it's going to be a top 10, guys, there's going to have to be 2 games out of the games that I've played I'm going to have to get rid of. 2 games. And I'm going to have to give you a reason why. I'm going to have to choose Dead Aim. I'm going to choose Resident Evil Dead Aim. Again, I like it, don't get me wrong, I do like it, but it just doesn't, I don't find it as interesting as other Resident Evil games. I find it a bit boring. You're in a boat, which is, it's quite a cool kind of location for like a horror game, but you're in a boat. I think it's more like aimed around the gun, the PlayStation gun. I think it would be more fun if you had the gun, maybe, but, you know, I'm not really a big fan of the characters. You know, you've got Resident Evil characters, Resident Evil enemies, you've got hunters and like tyrants and stuff. But for me, it's probably my least favourite Resident Evil, so I'm going to take that out of the list. So I need to take away one more, guys, and I am going to take away Resident Evil Outbreak 1. Again, I like the game, but I don't know, I just wasn't a huge fan of the scenarios in this. You know, I liked the scenarios a lot better in Outbreak File number 2. I felt the AI was slightly improved. The AI was still pretty crap, but it was slightly improved compared to this. I don't know, I'm just not really a big fan of the scenarios. Some of the scenarios were quite confusing. I had to use a walkthrough on numerous occasions. I actually managed to complete this game without a walkthrough, so that's saying something, you know. So yeah, Resident Evil Outbreak, the first Resident Evil Outbreak, I'm taking that out. So yeah, these are the games I'm going to choose from: Resident Evil 1 and these games right here. And of course, I'm going to put them in order. It's a top 10, so I'm going to have to put them in order. And but if you've been on this channel for a little while, if you know me for a little while, you will know what my favourite Resident Evil game is. You know, I mean, this used to be my favourite series, Resident Evil. You know, Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, you know, they're classic games. Even Resident Evil 5, it was alright. But Resident Evil used to be my favourite series. But I would probably say it's Uncharted now, going by just how strong Uncharted 1, 2 and 3 are. You know, overall, Resident Evil, they do have some good games, but there's a lot of, you know, there's a couple of mediocre ones in there as well. But anyway, guys, let's get on to my top 10. Right, guys, you've joined me. I've got the camera set up. I've got my games right next to me. I've got number 1 separate because that's just a dead cert. I know exactly what number 1 is, like a lot of you guys will probably know. So yeah, let's go for my top 10, shall we? And I'm going to go for Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City on the PlayStation 3. Now, I do kind of admire Capcom, how they took like a huge gamble, you know, because they did take a gamble with this. It's totally different. It's like a squad-based kind of Resident Evil game. You know, think SOCOM, give it a Resident Evil theme, and you've basically got this game. I admire them for taking the gamble. Did the gamble pay off? Probably not, because people hate it. But I got some enjoyment out of it. You play as Umbrella, little Umbrella-like workers, I suppose you could call them. These guys at the back here. I'm not really sure what you call them, but you know, they work for Umbrella. And you play as them. They've not got much of personality. They've got like Russian accents, which is pretty cool. But you don't have much personality, you know. I mean, it would have been a lot better if they had like STARS members. You know, you could play as Claire or Leon or I don't know, Marvin or Chris Redfield and people like that. It'd be well bloody awesome, you know. But no, it's just random Umbrella workers. And like I say, I do like the game. It's really short, but I do like the game, and I'm gonna give it. Gonna put it in 10th place. For number 9. Number 9, I'm gonna say Resident Evil Survivor on PlayStation 1. Again, this is one of those like hit and missy kind of games as well. People hate it, some people like it, some people hate it. You know, it's different. It's never one of those different Resident Evil games. You can play it with the gun. But I never had the gun back in the day, the light guns, so I always played this with a controller. You have to play through the game in one setting basically. You can't save your progress. You can save like, I don't know, like how many enemies you've killed and stuff like that to add to your total, but you can't actually save your progress, so you have to complete the game in one sitting. It's only like an hour and a half game, it's really short, and the characters are bumming crap, to be honest. Really bad voice acting. You know, the main character doesn't know who he is because he's taken a bump to the head. That's basically the story, trying to find out who he is, you know, because he thinks he's the bad guy for a little while, and just trying to find out who you are, really. Again, just not really a likeable character and a pretty stupid storyline, but I kind of like the game, so short and sweet again, Resident Evil Survivor. Okay, next we have the number 8. After this, guys, things are going to get really bloody difficult, so but anyway, we're going to go for this. We're going to go for number 8, we're going to go for Resident Evil Outbreak File number 2 on the PlayStation 2. Again, like I said, I like this a lot better than Outbreak Film number 1, because I like the scenarios a lot better, because the first scenario in a zoo, which you've got like a zombified elephant, zombified lion, zombified hyenas, stuff like that, there's crocodiles. I just think the scenarios are just a lot more like interesting, you know. Like I say, that zoo is probably one of my favourite levels in the whole game. There's only like 4 or 5 scenarios, but the zoo is definitely the best one. Again, like I said, the character, your partner AI is crap. They don't do what you tell them to do. They run off half the time, and they just ignore you, stuff like that. You're dying, they're running around like bloody idiots. You know, it's so basically they're really only useful, I think, is for distracting the enemies. You know, they take a couple hits while you like escape, so they're kind of like your little shield, you know. But yeah, I still like the game, so yeah, Resident Evil Outbreak File number 2 is number 8. Next we have number 7. Oh, I think it's time. People are really going to hate me for this, considering the fact I've still got Resident Evil 6, Resident Evil 5 still here. People are going to hate me for this. It's going to be a bit controversial, but number 7, I'm going to say Resident Evil 1. What, you idiot, why are you putting 1 so far down the list and you've still got Resident Evil 5 and 6 there? You know, it should be higher on the list, because it was the game that got me into Resident Evil. It was the game that got me into survival horror. But for me, the gameplay is slightly lacking. You know, if it was going by the voice acting, it'd be really high on the list, you know. But I've got to go by gameplay. And again, I love it, don't get me wrong, I love it. But I just think it's slightly lacking compared to some of the other Resident Evil games, in my opinion. Because I do like the action that's in Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6, you know. So yeah, it's going to be controversial. I love Resident Evil 1 to pieces, don't get me wrong. Completed it many times, just like basically all these Resident Evil games. But yeah, I'm going to say Resident Evil 1 is 7th on the list. Like I say, very controversial. People are going to hate me, they're going to say it should be higher up. It should be before Resident Evil 5, it should be before Resident Evil 6. But no, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to say it's Resident Evil 1 is number 7. Right, we're in the top 6 now. Bloody hell. It's getting extremely bloody difficult, guys. I'm really having a hard time choosing here. I'm going to have to do a lot of cut. I don't know. Right. Number 6 is going to be Resident Evil 5. Now, I was looking forward to this game so much, you know, when I had the PS2 and I wanted a PS3. You know, this is one of the games I wanted to get. And when I got it, I just couldn't stop playing it, you know. Completed it in about 2 or 3 nights because I played it so much. After that, completed it again. After that, completed it again. Just kept completing it over and over again. I really couldn't get enough of this game. There's one part I didn't like, that was like the underground like caves or something. or tombs or something like that. But I wasn't really a big fan of that section. It was like chapter 4 or something. That was the one part of the game that I didn't like. But apart from that, I liked all the other parts from the game. And obviously, Albert Wesker, the main bad guy, just brilliant. You know, the fights with Wesker, the cutscenes with Wesker, just brilliant. Some awesome and really, really memorable quotes from Wesker. You know, and I do really like the game. Obviously, again, I would say the character AI, partner AI is pretty shocking. You know, Sheva. Don't even get me body started with Sheva. But yeah, Resident Evil 5, awesome game, but it's going to go as my number 6 Resident Evil game. Right guys, next is number 5. And I'm going to say Resident Evil 6 on the PS3. Again, it's one of these games, people hate this game. People hate this game. You know, I thought it was bad enough people hating Resident Evil 5. But that's nothing compared to the way people feel about this game. They absolutely despise this game. They want to take all the copies of this game and put them in the blooming fire. I'm telling you. But I like it. I like it. You know, there's always one person, isn't there? But I'm sure I'm not the only person that likes Resident Evil 6. I like how they had like 4 different campaigns. You know, it's like different like styles of gameplay. For me, it's definitely the Leon and Helena campaign and the Jake and Sherry campaign. They are my 2 favourite campaigns. Chris and Pierre's not a big fan of them, even though they did have the best ending and best final boss, I would say. Ada, not too bad. But like I say, the Leon campaign and the Jake and Sherry campaign are easily the best in my opinion. Love playing Mercenaries mode as well online. Really, really good stuff. Got a lot of enjoyability out of that. So yeah, Resident Evil 6 guys, I'm giving that the number 5 place. Right, so in the final 4 now guys, I do know what order I'm going to give these games. I've got a rough idea in my head what order I'm going to give these games. So yeah, let's just get straight on with it. Number 4 I'm going to give to Resident Evil Code Veronica X. So this was the last of the classic Resident Evil games that I played, you know, with the old school camera angles, going around corners. You couldn't see what was around the corners, so you could run into a zombie. You know, going around corners could really, really screw you over. That was classic Resident Evil. This is classic Resident Evil, and I love it. I really, really do love it. When I first got this on the PS2 and played through it, I was blown away. Just by the way the game looked, you know, coming off like Resident Evil 2 and 3 and stuff, going on to this. It just looked brilliant, played really, really well. I actually do consider this one of the hardest Resident Evil games I've played. Because I just think it was really, really difficult when I first played through it. You know, I was low in, I wouldn't say low in ammo, but I was low in health. I didn't really have that many like healing items. You know, obviously going through it now, I'm okay because I've played through it like numerous of times. You know, I would say it's the most difficult Resident Evil I've played, and just brilliant. You know, you play through half the game as Claire Redfield, half the game as Chris. Chris is just awesome, and Claire Redfield, I'm just in love with Claire Redfield. I bloody love her, I really do. So yeah, it's just a brilliant game, guys. So Resident Evil Code Veronica X is in 4th place. In 3rd place, we are going to give the bronze medal to a game that when I first played through it, guys, I just couldn't put it down. And it was, and yeah, it still is actually my favourite game on the PlayStation 2. You know what it is. And it is Resident Evil 4. The game that people said basically killed the Resident Evil series. And I suppose it did. This was considered the last of the good Resident Evil games. After this, they turned crap. This was the last of the good games. And, oh god, it was a good game. It really, really was. Like I say, guys, couldn't put it down. Played through it. Once I completed it, played through it again, completed it, played through it again and again and again. Just kept playing it over and over again. Probably played through it about 10 times. I'm not lying, guys. About 10 times, I would say. Just brilliant. Really, really good stuff, guys. Characters are brilliant. Cutscenes are brilliant. You know, the interaction with Leon and the bad guys is just brilliant. The game's fantastic. It looks brilliant. And it's actually getting a HD remake on Steam. Which is pretty damn awesome. Looking forward to seeing what that looks like in HD. I'm not going to get it because I don't think my computer can run it. But I'm looking forward to seeing what it's going to be like in HD. So yeah, Resident Evil 4, guys. It's just got so much content as well. Once you complete the game, you've also got two separate scenarios where you play as Ada. You've got Assignment Ada, and you have got Separate Ways. And you've got a Mercenaries mode as well. So there's tons and tons of content, guys, on just one disc. So yeah, Resident Evil 4, it's a brilliant game, guys. It really, really is. And if you've not played it, and you like shooting zombies and stuff, even though they're not really zombies, they're Los Eliminados or whatever you call them, I would really recommend that game. Right, well, that leaves me with the two PlayStation 1 games. And I just can't fault these games, you know. To me, there's just not much between them. There's only one thing why I like one more than the other. And yeah. But anyway, we're giving the silver medal to Resident Evil 2. Talking about the content, wow. There's actually 4 different scenarios in this. You've got 2 scenarios you can play through as Claire, and 2 scenarios you can play through as Leon. So there's an A and a B scenario for each character, and 2 discs. So if you play through the game as Leon A, when you first play through the game, you play through as Leon. You can put his A campaign or scenario, whatever you will call it. You then go on to Claire B, and if you start off playing Claire A, you will go on to Leon B. You know what I mean? So it's quite difficult to explain, really, but I hope I explained it well. It's just a brilliant game, guys. You know, going on from Resident Evil 1 to this, what a huge step up. It's just so bloody brilliant, guys. Like I say, so much content. Again, it's got Claire Redfield in it, who I love Claire Redfield. You know, it's one of my video game crushes, I suppose you could say. But yeah, Resident Evil 2, guys, just brilliant. You know, it was bloody scary back in the day as well. You know, with William Birkin. He was a creepy dude, you know, when he was mutated. Oh my god. But anyway, Resident Evil 2, guys, just a brilliant game, brilliant soundtrack, everything about the game is brilliant. I just can't fault it. So Resident Evil 2 gets the silver medal. Now, so guys, we have our number 1. I just want to say this top 10's been so blooming awesome and intense that I ended up knocking my button watch strap off. I don't know if you can see that. But I ended up knocking it off. And I just thought I'd had that in there when I was swapping games. I'll sort that later. Anyway. But yeah, a lot of you guys will know this straight from the start. This is my favourite Resident Evil game. But thank you for watching the video anyway. Really appreciate it. But number 1, and the gold medal goes to Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Take a good look at our number 1, guys. There's our number 1 right there. Yep. Because of this guy, Nemesis, because of this guy, there's just so many awesome fights with Nemesis during the game. They're just so bloody enjoyable, and for that reason this is my favourite Resident Evil game, and one of my favourite games ever, guys. It really is, you know. Lost count how many times I've played through this game. It's just a classic, it really is, and I just can't find anything really to fault it, you know. Just brilliant. Again, I could say it's difficult when you first play it as well. Especially when you first fight Nemesis, because you don't have that many like weapons and stuff. You know, you have a handgun and a shotgun, and it's just a really bloody difficult guy to take down. You know, obviously because the pistol's weak and the shotgun's it's powerful but it's slow, so you end up getting beaten up when you're trying to go and shoot him. But yeah, just a brilliant game, guys. And yeah, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. I could talk about it for a while. But it would be here all day. So Resident Evil 3 Nemesis gets the number 1 Resident Evil game, in my opinion. I think that camera's slipping down, I think. And a bit late to to notice that. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think about these games. If you want to give me your top 5 Resident Evil games, or top 10 Resident Evil games, or just your favourite Resident Evil game, just yeah, feel free to write below in the comments. I'm really interested to hear you guys' opinions, as always. So anyways, hope you enjoyed this. I love Resident Evil, and yeah, that is my my top 10. See you guys, thanks for watching.